It's Friday, November 3rd, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From Bloomberg, Venezuela says Guyana seeks to halt vote on disputed territory. Venezuelan officials have said that their neighbor Guyana is appealing a referendum that Venezuela has scheduled for December 3rd with the International Court of Justice, intending to derail the voting process. That referendum focused on the issue of a territory on the two countries' border that both governments claim. This territory has been a contentious issue between the two countries since colonial times, and that tension was increased when Guyana achieved independence from the UK in 1966. But for decades, the region has been governed by Guyana, while Venezuela has continued to claim it as its own. And tensions over this issue have increased as fossil fuel resources have been discovered in the area, and ExxonMobil and other oil giants have started seeking licenses to drill. The government of Guyana has said that it's on heightened guard right now, as the Venezuelan military has reportedly been building up resources near their shared border. From The Guardian, Senate Republicans confront Tuberville over military holds. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville was seriously confronted by senators from his own party over his 9-month blockade of new U.S. military confirmations and promotions in protest of the military's abortion policy for the first time during a recent session. Senators from both parties have criticized Tuberville for this blockade in the past, as it has resulted in a shortage of U.S. military officers, but the issue has become more pointed since the conflict between Israel and Hamas took off a few weeks ago, as U.S. military resources have been moved to the area and lack necessary upper brass service people. Tuberville has said he won't drop his blockade until Democrats allow a vote on the Pentagon's policy of allowing all troops access to reproductive health care, something that is no longer guaranteed across the United States and is instead decided on a state-by-state basis. And this has led to nearly 400 military officers not receiving their promotions or confirmations so far. And from BBC News, President Joe Biden calls for pause in Israel-Gaza conflict. U.S. President Biden has called for a pause in the fighting in Gaza to allow humanitarian resources into the area and to allow hostages free passage out of the region. This represents a shift in policy by Biden, who has repeatedly said that the U.S. government will fully back Israel no matter what, while also encouraging the Israeli military to be careful about harming civilians as they pursue Hamas's leaders and infrastructure. Israeli leadership has countered that a pause would only allow Hamas the opportunity to rearm and rebuild, but a recent series of attacks on refugee camps in Gaza by the Israelis have sparked pushback from some of their staunchest allies, leading to more calls for humanitarian pauses and more publicly voiced concerns about what constitutes a war crime in this kind of situation. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.